the coffee on, grab a bagel, because we got volleyball for breakfast here in Omaha on the campus of Creighton University. It's number 17, Kansas, and the South Florida Bulls on day 2 of the Creighton Classic. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside DJ Sokol Arena. I'm John Schreiner alongside Shannon Smolinski. We got a great matchup for you here today. Ranked Kansas Jayhawks, South Florida Bulls, who played an incredibly tough schedule up to this point. And these two teams, Shannon, have packed a lot of matches into a short space of time. There may be some tired legs out there today.
That they have, and that's what's nice. When you have the depth within your bench and you're able to utilize different players that you might not always be able to, it allows for that experience.
Both of these teams have played Omaha, the other team in the city of Omaha. Kansas played them yesterday. South Florida played them on Friday. South Florida played right here against Creighton yesterday. Kansas is going to play another match at 5 o'clock today, so a lot of action. Might harken back to the club volleyball days with those tight windows of games on a weekend.
You're right. We talked about saving legs. That's really important, especially for those 6 rotation athletes.
Here's the lineup for South Florida. Maria Clara Andrade, she got a rest day yesterday, but she is the 2024 American Conference Player of the Year. The Bulls will be happy to have her back in the lineup. She's a tremendous hitter from the outside, and she's going to have a big matchup with the other outside for Kansas, a 6'7" freshman, and Jovana Zelenovic. That'll be an interesting matchup to watch all day long.
Yeah, we're the one within Andrade brings in a lot of load from the offensive side. You'll see Zelenovic not only carry that load offensively, but puts up big numbers from the block side.
They go right to Zelenovic early, and you see the heavy arm that she has, but a great diving save on the back line by Bruce. Kansas back on the attack, right back to Zelenovic, and she puts this one down. There's the lineup for Kansas. They come in at 8-4. All their losses are 5-set losses, and it's to Penn State, Wisconsin, Creighton, and Purdue, all ranked teams.
And all in 5 sets.
All in 5 sets. Kansas to serve off the hand of the setter, Klein, to the middle, and Imani Hartfield able to find a place for that one.
The first thing that stands out is definitely the physicality. I mean, we talk about even the 2 players between Andrade and Zelenovic. That's a 5'11" versus a 6'7" size difference. I mean, you're seeing that all across the board from position to position. So it'll be interesting to see how much of the shots and the rolls from South Florida to keep Kansas on their toes.
Go the other way to Zelenovic this time. She puts it down. Another kill for the big freshman out of Novi Sad, Serbia. She's played for her country in the Nations League, and her club won the Serbian national championships. And when you have a player of that caliber with that much size and skill, you can see why.
Yeah, I mean, there's just the sheer physicality, and if you're able to have range within your arm, you're definitely going to be putting up some big numbers.
Logan Bell in to serve for Kansas. Attack from the right side for South Florida, but kept up. Big swing from Nelson, the block. Pulls it back to the South Florida side. They'll go far side this time, and a good kill. Ariana Beckham, the FAU transfer, puts it away.
Really smart from South Florida to go away from Zelenovic. So instead of utilizing the outside and Addie Bruce, they're going away from Zelenovic to try to see what they can do with the matchups behind the setter.
Maya Thomas, junior defensive specialist. Good serve from her. Kansas has the free pass across. Andrade tries the cut shot, doesn't have the right angle. Point Kansas.
Missed opportunity there from the Bulls. Anytime you get a free ball, definitely want to try to capitalize on that.
Andrade, over 1,000 career kills. As we mentioned, Player of the Year in the American last season. Had 23 kills on Friday night against Omaha. Here's the libero, White, on the serve. A little mistimed on that set. Chance for KU. Zelenovic, that was blocked. Andrade, roll shot, couldn't get it through.
It's definitely going to be a learning moment there for Andrade, is getting a feel for what that matchup looks like. It's a good idea for the off-speed roll. Just definitely have to go a little bit higher there.
Serve from White. The set from Richardson. Andrade got the cut shot that time. And you can see he's not quite as big, but Andrade's tremendous athleticism and leaping ability.
Yeah, that range, it's a great block setup there from KU, but that range to be able to hit that 4-to-4 shot, very well executed.
Andrade will serve it. Nelson off the block, got it.
Just a heavy arm from Grace Nelson, the sophomore from Illinois, utilizing those 4 hands in front of her.
Here's Zelenovic back to serve. Andrade with a high pass across. Second ball attack, perfectly played by Klein. Kristen Klein, the sophomore setter out of North Carolina.
I always like to see setters, especially early on, taking their own number, being an offensive threat, as that definitely will, hold the middles to you, hold the outside to you a little bit longer, which is going to open up more for your offensive hitters.
Zelenovic, such a hard serve, and she puts a ton of velocity on that. Bruce couldn't get it through. Go back to her, pushed across. Andrade out of the back row this time, got it. South Florida cuts the lead down to 2.
Great defensive efforts here by both sides, but again, just reversing the floor, utilizing the options behind the setter, and with Andrade back there, instead of running her in the bick, they're utilizing her on that D-ball.
In South Florida's game, they've beaten 2 teams who are around the top 25 this season, Dayton and Florida State, who were both receiving votes at the time. Oh, overpass on the set, put back down, and the Bulls within 1.
Really not much more you could do with that ball other than trying to keep it in play. So really good discipline there from the Bulls to just be low and over and simple with their block setup.
Samia Foster, the libero, to serve it for South Florida as they try to level this first set at 6. Good serve. Second ball blocked. Good up in the middle by Hartfield to block that second ball attack.
That's exactly, she learned from the first one, stayed with her. If you're Klein, you have to see that you don't have that matchup, and that's where you want to kick it out to a pin, and that's where you're going to get that one-on-one opportunity.
It's not often you see a 5'9" middle in this day and age of volleyball, but Imani Hartfield doing a good job in there for South Florida. Foster, another good serve, and she's got an ace. Bulls take the lead.
They're being really intentional to be attacking the libero for the Jayhawks, Ryan White, so we'll see if that's something they continue to do.
White, better play this time. Nelson got that one, uses the block to score.
Really good tempo there from Kristen Klein, as, again, with her being in the front row, she held that block. And South Florida did a pretty good job of getting out there. They were just a smidge late, and so credit Klein on that tempo.
Nelson serve, overpassed by Andrade, kept alive by Hartfield. Bruce, the swing off the block, and it got down. Just got past Swanson on the dive.
You're seeing all 3 blockers for KU, so just being able to time that right to utilize those hands, and it's going right over into that vacated spot in area 4.
Swanson tipping across, pushed outside, block, kept up Andrade. Bruce near side, through the block that time, and the Bulls lead by 2 now, 9-7.
Talked about Klein and the offense and the tempo. That's a really good set there from Reagan Richardson. Again, just, not a perfect pass. It's a little bit off the net, but just continues to force that tempo, which is going to allow those hitters to be able to go with those blockers.
And Richardson comes through with the ace, her 15th of the season.
Flat cross court, 1-to-1 serve. Really well done.
10-7 South Florida in set one. Touches the tape on the way through. Set to the near side. Patak put that down. Last year's Big 12 Freshman of the Year, Reese Patak.
Just a really good connection there from the two.
She will go back to serve. Missed contact by Beckham. She puts her hand over her mouth, but it worked out.
Sometimes it's about being a little lucky. You know, I will say, it seems as if any time, you know, in the volleyball world, when you're out of system, you know, that's not something that you want to be. But when you talk about the physicality of Kansas versus the size that you have in South Florida, it's almost like you want to be off of the net, because when you're on the net, it might not lend itself as the best matchup. And so some of South Florida's kills have been really successful from really far off of the net from their roll shots.
And first-year head coach Matt Ulmer wants a timeout as South Florida has extended the lead now. They lead at 12-8. They have come alive here in the middle part of this set. It was a slow start for the Bulls, but they found their way into this one.
Just little by little, they've done it almost in every area of the floor. They've done it from serving. They've done it from blocking. They've done it from the out-of-system deceptive rolls. And then in that last point right there, the one-on-one matchup where they, again, you know, credit to the pace that they're putting on the ball from the pin to the pin is allowing just enough for the pins to work on South Florida to have the one-on-one opportunities, which is exactly what you saw right there.
Yeah, Jolene Shepardson, head coach at South Florida, she rotated the squad yesterday. Didn't play Hartfield, Beckham, Andrade, or Richardson. I think coach knows what she's doing. She was targeting this matchup with Kansas. They had played on Friday night, wanted to rest those players, and they look fresh here today.
Yeah, another team that has been very battle tested. They played Florida. They took Purdue to 5 sets. They played Creighton here yesterday, and they've also seen, you know, a Big Ten squad of Minnesota. And so, you know, this is, even though we talk about the physicality, this is nothing that they haven't already seen throughout the season. So, you know, just being able to execute on the little things because the margin of error is so small.
Team that was 19-10 a season ago. They went 14-2 in conference play. Finished first in the American Conference, but they were upset in the tournament semifinal by Wichita State. They were picked second in the American behind Rice this season. Overpass, Andrade puts it down. Another point straight away out of the timeout. It's a 5-point lead for South Florida.
That's just the IQ, right? I mean, you have a senior that's just been in it, has all the accolades. That's just a high IQ play there.
Bruce gives it back. Kristen Klein, the setter, will come on to serve. Zelenovic back out there for the Jayhawks. Klein followed her head coach from Oregon. And she gets an ace. Timely ace for Kristen Klein.
And this is the lineup, if you're Matt Ulmer, that you want to see your Jayhawks in. You get your 6-7 opposite back onto the floor. You have your setter having 3 to 4 options back there. This is something that they definitely want to hold serve and try to close the gap here.
Quick set to the middle. Good swing by Monty Hartfield.
I love that choice there. Just to be able to find those middles, establish your middles. You know, I mean, if you have the one-on-one and you can trust that connection, you know, go for it. They haven't done it a whole ton, as Hartfield has only had 2 total attempts. But I like the creativity as well as the parity and spreading it out.
Hartfield played 4 seasons at Southern Illinois. One of those was a medical redshirt. She transferred to South Florida last season. Perfectly executed by Swanson. And a good set by Klein.
Yeah, really good connection. Really led her forward, so she was able to continue her momentum through the ball.
Logan Bell, the freshman. She was Player of the Year in the state of Indiana in her senior year of high school last year. Puts that one into the net. South Florida still up 4. 15-11. Maya Thomas. Blocked. Ionic Garvin got up in the middle. The Hofstra transfer with a big block. But it was out of bounds, and point to Kansas.
Grace Nelson just has such a heavy arm that even if you have that strong, setup within your block, I mean, you really have to be low and over because Grace Nelson has a heavy, heavy arm.
Second ball attack for Richardson. Kansas was up for it. Zelenovic couldn't put it away. Andrade. And it went outside the antenna, or touched it at least.
Yeah, just a set that got too wide for Andrade, as Richardson wanted to keep that tempo, but just sailed it a little bit too wide.
Kansas fighting back after they trailed by 4. Down to 2 now for Ryan White. Another player who came with head coach Matt Ulmer from Oregon. Back row, Bruce, the roll shot. White, Zelenovic, cross court, nailed it.
Like I said, this is the rotation that they want to be in as they're able to spread the ball around. If you're South Florida, you want to think about what it is that has been working to get you to the point of that large margin.
So Jolene Shepherdson will call timeout now with Kansas back to within 1. And one of the things you notice about Jovana Zelenovic so far is she doesn't even need a fast arm swing to put so much power on it.
No, just the point of contact of where she's hitting. She's able to hit above the block, and she's able to place it in all of the seams. So, sometimes you might have a wiry kid that's able to get up on top of the ball, touch a certain, above 10 foot and be able to work around the block. But I think the biggest thing that you're seeing with her is just her point of contact is, it's just so high. And then she has a really smart range where she's hitting into the seams in between the backcourt.
Matt Ulmer hired as the new head coach for Kansas this season. He spent 2017 through 2024 at Oregon, where he led the Ducks to 3 Elite Eights and 2 Sweet 16s and won 23 or more matches in 6 of 7 years if you throw out the 21 COVID season where they went 15-5. Tremendously successful coach, comes to one of the Midwest powerhouse programs in Kansas.
Yeah, Ulmer will do really well there, him and his staff, and what they're trying to accomplish. Taking over, for Ray Bouchard is no, small task to do, but I think what he's done at Oregon and what he's doing on the recruiting efforts and bringing the talent into the Midwest, rather almost keeping the talent in the Midwest. I mean, between your Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, I mean, you have so many really great volleyball athletes that are in that Midwest that it'll be really exciting to see what he's able to do within that program.
I mean, right in your backyard, that Kansas City area produces a ton of volleyball talent.
Yeah, between the high school, the club, you have a lot of athletes to pick from, and so I think he'll do really well there.
On the slide, Garvin gets the point out of the timeout to put the Bulls back up 2.
And that's exactly what they've done that led early on in the match, is they've attacked behind the setters. So if their first contact can allow themselves to do that, I think they'll be able to continue to stay in the driver's seat.
Yeah, it really is a difference between when they get the one-on-one matchup versus when there's 4 hands up there.
I think with that, as well as being predictable, I think you saw, just that force of Zelenovic being in the front row and kind of being a little bit predictable and allowing, Kansas to control the narrative. I think you have to trust what you're trying to do.
Zelenovic to serve. Watch this. Back row for Andrade. Kansas will set it up. Far side Nelson. She's blocked. Near side. Attack. finds the line, gets it home, tied at 16 now.
Really well done there from Klein as she takes a small little peek over her shoulder right there, sees that she's holding that middle with her, and then just has that beautiful connection on the slide.
Bruce, good swing. Puts South Florida back in front.
Really,
tight first set.
Really good swing, but again, just a really good set there from Reagan Richardson. That is what is opening up that seam for her hitters. I mean, they say a great team really comes down to having a great setter, and I think so far Reagan Richardson is doing a nice job for the Bulls.
Got the back line. What a serve from Foster.
And we'll see if Matt Ulmer and staff wants to challenge, as right away the bench thought it was out, and so that we will. We'll get our first challenge here at DJ Sokol Arena. As it sits, it's 18-16 South Florida pending this review. From my angle, it looked like it was in. I don't know what you thought. I thought it dropped into. The trajectory of it was going wide, and then I think the bottom of it just, you know, sat. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult as we're behind it. So if any part of that ball hits that white line, it would be in. So what they're going to be looking for is, do they see any blue? And I think I see white. I see white. So, and the side angle is going to be the best angle. And it's reversed. Well, they reversed the call, and we're tied at 17. Didn't see that coming. Must have seen something we didn't, Shannon. Yeah, and it was quick, too. So hats off to the officiating crew. Sometimes they can get stuck on it for a little while. So must have seen it very, very clear. Grace Nelson to serve it. And she sends it right back the other way. Yeah, you're trying to attack the top half of that ball. You want to try to paint that back line, those deep seams, but if you're not able to get on the top half, that ball's just going to keep sailing. It's another ace for South Florida. They have been serving tough here in set one. Fourth ace of the opening set. They lead at 19-17. For that two-point swing within that challenge, the Bulls got it right back. Foster got the dig, but couldn't control it. Another kill for Patak. Got really great connection there with those two, Patak and Klein, on that slide. Even if they had the one-on-one, she still felt strong enough to be able to go down that line. Just a heavy arm. Heavy swing from Beckham, but it was denied by the sophomore Patak, as well as the freshman Aurora Papac out of Croatia. $19-all. Touched across. What a play. Heads up, Reagan Richardson. Yeah, and Reagan's only a sophomore from Jensen Beach, Florida. Played at Florida Gulf Coast, so has definitely seen it at a different program. Has been able to build her IQ, but that's just a heads-up play. Back row, Nelson, bang. Foster was in the area, just got caught still moving. If she was stopped, I think she would have been able to play that ball forward. Tied at 20 here in set one. South Florida no stranger to extra points. They had 2 sets against Omaha on Friday night that went to 30 or more. Andrade rejected. The KU block really coming up big here late in set one as they put all 3 of them up against Andrade, and it's a really good idea to use the hands, but just going a little bit too low into the belly of the block. And the 6'4" freshman Aurora Papac has shown up here late in set one. Gives Kansas the lead 21-20. Kansas on the season 8-4. They've won
5 in a row. All 5 have been sweeps. They swept Omaha out yesterday. And their losses, the 4, as we mentioned, to Penn State, Wisconsin, Creighton, and Purdue, all 5-set losses. They played some high-level competition.
You know, you say it's an early wake-up call. Not only is it actually an early wake-up call here for the 10 a.m. match, but rather, you know, you can't just go through the motions. Like we talked about, South Florida, they've seen this competition, they've seen this level. I'm sure they've had plenty of opportunities to watch film against KU. So, you know, both sides, it's been a long weekend, right? We've played a lot of volleyball, but all across the country at the, you know, your Division I volleyball is really, really good everywhere. And so it's making sure that we're not just going through the motions, rather what is the game plan? What are we executing with? Whether it's who are we serving to? What are the matchups that we're looking for? Just being a little bit more intentional at what we're doing rather than going through the motions.
And it's the last weekend for most teams across the country before they start conference play. So a final tune-up before it really matters. 21-20. Klein back to serve for Kansas and puts it in the net. Well-used timeout by Coach Shepherdson.
There's been 2 of those following not only that timeout, but following that challenge. I mean, that's just, you know, you don't want to just get it over. But, you know, when you have the advantage from the blocking size, you definitely don't want to just go up there and hand over points from behind the line.
Klein sets Swanson. Kept up. And pushed across by Beckham. Chance for Kansas here. White will set it up for Swanson. Kept up by Bruce. Andrade, cut. It's out. And no touch. Point Kansas.
Really good idea there from Andrade to try to hit that cut shot. Just a little early as they're trying to still force that tempo even when they're out of system. And again, that KU block just really forcing either the points for them or forcing the other team to make the errors.
Richardson goes far side Beckham. The touch was blocked. Andrade this time, tip. They keep it up. Pushed across, but a chance for Kansas now. Zelenovic couldn't find a home for it. Andrade the roll. Tipped. Zelenovic will push it over. In system set, back row, got it. Bruce puts it away to tie it at 22.
Yeah, I like that choice there from Richardson. Spread the ball out. Again, you got your main hitter within Andrade, but again, I think the supporting cast, whether it's in the BIC, the middle, or behind the setter, you have to take advantage of that.
Nelson, another heavy swing. Boy, she's got arm velocity.
Yeah, she does, and she has range. I mean, the majority of her hits, she's using the block. She'll see the seam. She'll go down the line. Been really impressed with her so far.
Leading the way with 5 kills for Kansas here in the opening set. They lead at 23-22. And White gets the ace to make it set point.
Very big play there from KU. I know that the missed timeouts or the missed serves following timeouts were not great, but if you can follow that up with an ace at that time.
Joust one, stays on the Kansas side, overpassed again, and pushed wide. Had a chance to end it right there, but South Florida given a second life here in the first.
Good idea from Patak to try to move the ball away from the defenders, just kind of mistimed it.
Andrade trying to send it to extra points here in the first. Gets it over the tape, kept alive. Overpass, hammered back the other way by Garvin. Boy, those let serves are so tough to deal with, and we will go extras in the first. Timeout, Kansas.
She said, I'll take the overpass into my own hands. I'm not sweeping this sucker. I'm going for it, and that she did. It was a beautiful swing.
So both coaches have used both of their timeouts here in the first in this tightly contested first set. 24 all. South Florida to serve out of the timeout. And one of the things I came away from watching South Florida, albeit a rotated lineup yesterday, is this is a scrappy team. They scramble, they get on the floor, and they just manufacture points in ways that are sometimes not traditional.
That's when you say if we're out of system, we have to still be in system. So whether it's out of system because the pass is off the net, whether it's out of system because my setter took the first ball, or whether it be out of system because it's just a quick dig to transition or a coverage, and there is that scrappiness that comes into play. I mean, that's where you rely on that leadership and that, IQ from Andrade and your pins to be able to still find ways to score and trust that backcourt to cover you as well as to ball handle.
See what Kansas wants to do out of this timeout. We've seen the timeouts work in sort of icing the server so far in this first set. And here, every point now is extremely crucial. We hit extras in set one. Jayhawks will play again at 5 p.m. against Creighton right here on this very floor. That game will be broadcast on Nebraska Public Media. Andrade, the server. Gets it across. Quick set to the middle, and the touch finds the floor from Patak. Any which way will do.
Yeah, not something that South Florida was expecting. But if you can have a team like Kansas tipping and rolling on you, if you're South Florida, you want to capitalize on that.
Zelenovic to serve it. Bruce through the block. Tied at 25.
Just finding a way to hit the seam, seeing the forehands, not being scared to go for it. And that's where if you're white, you got to attack that short seam if you can, whether you got to fill it or whether you got to attack it.
And now South Florida in their rotation where Zelenovic is off the floor. Foster the serve. Patak. That's dug by Thomas. Bruce the cut. Off the tape, no touch. Point Kansas. They lead at 26-25.
That's that Kansas block really putting pressure on the Bulls offense, leaving that 4-4 open. Just not able to capitalize.
Grace Nelson the serve. Quick to the middle, kept up. White outside, Swanson, Foster the dig. Back row, Andrade couldn't get it past White. Back row for Nelson. Back and forth we go. Another chance for Kansas. Swanson again. What a dig for Foster. Andrade out of the back row. Huge point for South Florida.
What a big time play there from the senior outside, Andrade, to go in there swinging. That is a hard angle to swing from the back row, coming from the left side, and to stay that aggressive. That's a big time swing.
Richardson the serve. Patak, dug by Andrade. Bruce, she has been effective late in set one.
I love that swing there from Ariana, or rather from Addie Bruce. Even though there's those three hands, she just turns that sucker back line for the wide open swing.
And now a chance for South Florida to close out the first. Swanson blocked, kept alive. Kansas will re-rack. Swanson again, roll shot. Andrade, Richardson, Bruce tried to throw it across. It touched the tape. Blocked. And for now, South Florida takes set one. We'll see if there's a challenge.
I don't think there is. Yeah, I didn't know if it would be 4 or not, but yeah, it looks like.
Thought there might be a challenge for 4 contacts on South Florida, but set one comes to an end with no such thing. And the Bulls, upset-minded, take the first, 28-26. Morning volleyball here in Omaha, and you got something brewing. South Florida takes set one from Kansas, 28-26. Jayhawks looked like they had taken control, but Bulls fight back, get the extra points win there in the first set. Look at the hitting percentages. And how about the digs? 21 digs for South Florida in that first, and none more important than that dig by the libero Foster on the point that gave South Florida a chance to end it when they got to 27. That set up that back row attack for Andrade. That very easily could have been point Kansas set over, but she makes the dig and gives her offense an opportunity to score.
Yeah, you talk about scrappiness. I mean, 21 digs to 12 digs. I mean, that's just it's a mindset, truly. Defense is a mindset, and if you can take, any opportunity to get a good read and to have that IQ and that element of reading defensively, you put yourself in a good spot. But then from there, it's just making up your mind to just go for it. And I think that's what you have to really, give credit to South Florida in that first set, is just going for it. I mean, even, we talk about defensively, but those out of system swings, like, they're not just keeping it in play. That swing out of the back row by Maria Clara Andrade, like, that's going for it.
Yeah. No fear of failure. And we'll see how the Jayhawks respond in set two. They haven't lost a set in their previous 5 matches. They dropped the opener here to South Florida. It just seemed like South Florida wouldn't go away. They would not accept defeat at any point, even though they were behind for long stretches of that set. Fought back to get the victory, and here we go for set two. It'll be the setter, Reagan Richardson, who's been really impressive so far. Swanson kept alive by Andrade. Foster chases it all the way to the bench. Swanson again, that's touched. Near side, Beckham. First point, South Florida.
Just doing the little things. I mean, I'm so impressed with Hartfield. I mean, she's doing a really good job of reading from pin to pin just to get hands on the Jayhawk hitters, which is allowing that backcourt to go to work. I mean, it's really impressive. And then they've been really successful offensively. You saw it right there in that swing going behind the setter. And we haven't talked a whole ton about Ariana Beckham. And, if that's where the matchup is, you have to be able to execute. So she's doing a nice job.
A little off-speed shot that time, catches South Florida by surprise. Grace Nelson credited with the kill. A lot of moisture on the floor right now. Getting that cleaned up on the South Florida side.
Well, they've been going for it. They're sweaty.
Yeah, certainly.
Been going since 7 a.m. with serve and pass.
Hey, no criticism.
Emptying their tank in set one. I love it.
Kristen Klein, good serve. Played across on the second ball. Back row, Nelson, Foster, and just too much. Grace Nelson with that hard swing puts a lot of pressure on it.
And I like Klein using her there. I mean, you're seeing it all across the country, that back row, whether it be the Bic out of the middle or it be that D ball if you have that opposite or that hitter in that zone one behind the setter. It's just a really great option to keep the momentum, to keep the pace instead of shooting it clear across court and taking it from, off of your shoulder. I really like that use of Nelson there.
2-1 Kansas, second set. They let it go, and it's an ace. Kristen Klein, 13th ace of the season.
Just another one of those. There's so much air movement in here. You think that the trajectory is going out, and at that last second, the bottom just drops.
Float, gets it across, another ace.
You call the yo-yo serve, going deep and then being able to drop it short, staying flat and clean. So she's approaching the ball the exact same way as if she would on that deep ball, but at that last second, she just cuts the jets off and sticks it, and that's what we call a yo-yo serve.
So back-to-back aces for Klein makes it 4-1 Kansas. Another serve that touches the tape. Bruce dug out of the back by Nelson. Beckham rejected. Papats got up in the middle.
And that's where if you're Foster as a libero, you want to try to see if you can't have that ball go to your outside or your right side rather than your outside, as that is just a really big block that they're working against the Jayhawks.
And an early timeout for South Florida. They've fallen behind by 4 here in the second. Kansas has come out and put them under pressure.
Something that you didn't fully see in set one.
Right.
You didn't see, you know, almost like we talked about earlier, like, you know, going through the motions and, you know, taking the opportunity. I mean, South Florida only has the one match today. Kansas has two. So it's like, how much of it do you know, you don't, if you're Kansas, you were hopeful today was just going to be, you know, a little bit,
yeah,
you know, seamless and coming in and taking, you know, being the, you know, number 17th ranked, or, you know, being wherever they're ranked, yeah, number 17, coming in, you want to take care of business early because it could be a long day. So, but then again, it's like, do you want to kind of, you know, not feel as if you have to fully exert yourself? And it's
right.
like, no, like South Florida has come here. They only have the one match. They're the complete opposite, right? Like they're hopping on a plane.
Blow the tanks today.
Yep, let's do it. And so, and that's why you see the respecting Kansas of like, okay, well, we're not going to play with the depth that we do have. We're going to put our starting lineup in there. We do have to take care of business, but just because we show up doesn't mean that
right.
we're going to take care of business.
And this is, like, we haven't mentioned it yet, but this is a pretty young Kansas lineup. I mean, you've got two freshmen in Papats and Zelenovic who are playing key roles. Your setter, Klein's a sophomore. Patak, who we've seen be involved in the offense, is a sophomore. Nelson is a sophomore. The only seniors who are really contributing are Ryan Swanson and your libero, White. To the middle. Hartfield got it.
She's fun to watch. She's just doing her job little by little, whether it's working from pin to pin and having solid block setups, or just being really simple and available on her route and seeing that she has that spot open right over the block and takes it.
Serve from Bruce is a good one. Zelenovic, she's blocked.
Ariana Beckham was just committed from the word go. She was lined up with Zelenovic, went with that set, sealed those hands low and over.
5-3 now. Another good serve from Bruce. Klein lost it, thought it might go over the net. It stayed on the Kansas side. A mistake there for the Jayhawks makes it a 1-point game here in set two.
With her being in the back row, she can't jump and take it over if it's going to break the plane, but I think she would have had a little bit more room to work with if she would have committed to it.
Back row this time. Nelson buries it.
She's done a really great job for the Jayhawks today. Coming in, putting up her 8th kill, hitting 500 so far on this match. I think that connection between her and Klein have suited them well.
6-4 Jayhawks in front. Andrade off high hands. Zelenovic got it. Went to her on the right side this time, Zelenovic, and she makes it pay. Kansas back in front by 3. Logan Bell to serve. Quick to the middle for Hartfield. Zelenovic again, pushed it up. Foster, Bruce, rolled over, and just wide. It was a good idea from Andrade, just couldn't paint that far line.
Heads up play there from Logan Bell. Another young one, a freshman
right.
from Beech Grove, Indiana. Yeah, just a heads up play, because that was pretty close. So for her to know that that was going wide was an easy point in her pocket.
Ace for Bell. Third ace of this second set for Kansas.
Seems as if all of them are doing a really good job of attacking the shoulders of South Florida deep and then dropping them short, and some of them are getting the lucky touch of the net, but really well executed from the Jayhawks.
Lead is ballooned back to 5 for Kansas at 9-4. Tough take for Foster. Beckham has to tip across. Awkwardly off the hands of Zelenovic. And a fortunate point right there for South Florida, one that they needed badly.
And another point coming from behind the setter. Not only do you go away from the bigger block, but you're also forcing Zelenovic to have to play off-block defense. So just a really heads-up play.
And Monty Hartfield. Quick set. Good dig, Bruce. And she'll play it across. Klein. Nelson. Wow. I mean, it just sounds different coming off her hand.
Yeah, and I really like the connection from the two of them. I mean, this is their first year playing together, both, young sophomores, putting their, playing very large roles. Obviously, they're not leaving the floor, and it's just a really flat, fast ball that's going to the pin that's allowing Nelson to be so successful.
Overpass put back down by Nelson again, and she's starting to rack up the kills. That's her 10th, and they lead at 11-5 due to the Jayhawks.
Now going into today's match, Swanson was the overall kill leader for the Jayhawks. Nelson was pretty far down at 89. So I love to see the depth in just what you're able to do. I mean, on
and
cue.
And there she comes with the block.
Yeah, I mean, that is just huge for Kansas, as we talk about losing all of their all those matches in 5 sets. I mean, when you can have a player that maybe isn't one of your highest category leaders come in and do what she has done here so far, that's something, if you're Kansas, you're going to want to see in their next matchup against Creighton.
Another timeout taken by South Florida. Just trying to get things organized. They are out of timeouts for the rest of this set now, trailing 12-5. Kansas has come out with a different kind of energy here in the second set after they dropped the first. Nelson's had multiple 10+ kill matches this season, but hasn't had one in a couple of weeks. She had 18 in the match against Green Bay back on the 12th. And she has come to play here on this Sunday morning.
And I think some of that comes, from familiarity. I mean, you have a new head coach, you have a new setter. It takes time to establish it. Yeah, you have, what you can do in the off season, in the spring. But I think more than anything, to be able to have the game matches and learning from that and having that time together, whether it's on the bus or in the hotel room. I mean, you start to establish these connections. And so for the Jayhawks, I think not only because the youth, right, in the Jayhawks, that they're all going to be learning on the fly, but I also think those connections, I know early on they also played with Klein being the setter versus Dalton, and so you saw a little bit of discovery phase there. So I think over time you're going to see the offensive efficiencies for the Jayhawks improve.
Beckham with a good swing out of the timeout.
I would love to see how many of the kills that we have here for the Bulls are from behind the setter instead of in front. And I think Andrade has done a good job, as well as Beckham and Bruce, but I think from behind is where they're finding the most success.
Maya Thomas the serve. Tight set to the net. Rolled over, doesn't get over by Bruce. That looked just out of sorts from the jump for South Florida.
Just something that we have not seen yet. Anytime they have those broken plays, they're typically delivering there. So just something that, yeah, they haven't seen.
Zelenovic with 4 kills. Be back to serve. Second ball. Nelson, they finally got her stopped. A big block out of the middle by Ayana Garvin.
They had that sealed between Richardson. I mean, went all the way out to that pin. There was no way to sneak that through at all.
Andrade will serve it. On the slide, kept up by Thomas. Back row, Andrade works the block.
Really good up there from Maya Thomas. That set that dig to transition up for Andrade. Really heads up play.
13-8, Kansas in front, set 2. South Florida took the first, 28-26. Quick set, tipped across. Point Kansas. And a violation called against the Bulls, so it wouldn't have mattered either way. The way the South Florida side of the court has been clean so far, you'd think it was a swimming pool over there. Bruce from the outside. And Patak comes back with it. Puts it away, 15-8, 7-point lead for the Jayhawks.
Really well done dig to transition. A great read from Nelson in that back corner. Puts Klein on the net and just sets a beautiful slide.
And the joust won by South Florida's Reagan Richardson after a tough pass from Andrade. The young setter puts it down.
Another setter one joust that I feel they are always in the driver's seat. Those setters are just the high IQ. They should have the highest on the floor.
Foster to serve at 15-9 Kansas. It touches off the tape. Klein was alert. Swanson, it's long. Point South Florida. Bulls back to within 5.
I thought they almost got a touch there.
No challenge coming from Matt Ulmer. Another serve off the tape for Foster. On the slide, Patak.
Really well done from the Wisconsin native. Patak, Kurt and Klein have really done a nice job in connecting there. Even more of a tribute to the passers to allow that, because if you can't get your setter on the net there, that can't be done.
New server for Kansas is Heidi Devers. Quick to the middle, Hartfield. They're on that quick tempo set to the middle, and it works out. Get the point back.
It's very well done. A really great connection here from the two of them, picking up Hartfield's 4th kill of the match.
Overpass, joust stays on the South Florida side. Chance for Kansas here. Swanson near side, dug by Andrade, tight to the net, and miscommunication on the overpass. They were in the net, Swanson missed it. It's a point South Florida.
Yeah, just a miscommunication. I mean, typically you want your middles as they're the one that's controlling those overpasses. So whether it was a lack of communication or a lack of trust.
White outside for Swanson. Back row, Andrade hammers it off the arm of Papats.
Just coming in like a freight train. Has the one blocker up, instead of just swinging in just a little bit of that thumb down, to just use that block for the tool.
It was a 7-point lead for Kansas. It's now down to 3. Back row, Nelson touched at the net. Hartfield was in the net, though. She made a good play, but touched into the net on the way down.
I like that choice there from Klein, with Nelson having as big of a match so far. It was a big point needed to slow the momentum down, so it was a really smart choice to use her there.
Hartfield, too much height in front of her. She had Papats at 6'4" and Zelenovic at 6'7". A lot of size on the floor right now, and you throw Kenzie Dean out there at 6'3" in the front row. Bruce blocked. Beckham with the heater.
Something that I'm seeing from South Florida is, I mean, we talked about their grittiness, but what I've been really impressed with is the trust. I mean, you're playing with 6 players on the floor, and it's, you know, relatively small on your side if in compared, you know, to your basketball floor or soccer fields, right? And so, you know, you have to have a lot of trust and communication, and I think that's what I've been so impressed with so far watching South Florida, is just the constant communication, the constant eye contact, where, you know, in those rallies, those long rallies, you know, you have to over exaggerate that communication, and I think that's what's really helped them so far today.
Kansas extends the lead back to 5 on the kill by Papats. Beckham. Bell on the back row, kept it up. Nelson blocked. And Grace Nelson was just on fire early part of this set, but she's been controlled a little bit better by South Florida here for the past 7-8 points or so.
Just an adjustment, an in-game adjustment there from South Florida, as they're really setting up on Nelson's line. And I've just been so impressed, you know, with Ariana Beckham and what she's doing on that right side pin.
Tatiana Johnson comes in to serve. Zelenovic got it down on the cross-court swing. Kansas first to 20 here in the second set.
Zelenovic, even though she's not really getting up above the block, it's just that heavy arm and that high contact, and I think also with range too. I mean, we've seen her hit it down the deep line, the deep seam, and then she'll throw in that cut shot, so that becomes really hard to defend.
Andrade.
If you can't beat them with size, you have to beat them with speed, and that's exactly what South Florida is doing. They know that they don't have the best matchup, so if they're going to use Andrade against Zelenovic, they have to do it where they're catching her where she's not able to set up fully against her.
20-16, Maya Thomas the serve. To the middle, missed contact that time by Patak, and give a point back to the Bulls, and now it's a 3-point game.
Little by little, the Bulls are just scratching away to see if they can't make this a little bit closer of a set here.
Deep serve from Thomas that time, untimely service error.
Let the momentum kind of get the best of her on that one.
Zelenovic checks out. Molly McCarthy, the junior defensive specialist, comes in to serve. Andrade pushed it off the block. Smart play.
The Bulls have been pretty successful going against Klein. I think if Klein would have probably bowed out and not went with her, I think she would have, there really would not have been much, nowhere else for Andrade to go to.
21-18. Nelson blocked. South Florida somehow keeps it up, but can't get it back across the net. Good effort from Foster, but it all comes to nothing. Point Kansas.
Nelson just going to work. He's able to hit that ball heavy enough where it goes through the block there. Just putting herself in the driver's seat for the Jayhawks.
More sweat on the court. A lot of it coming when Samia Foster hits the deck.
Well,
he's been working hard.
If you're the Bulls and you're leaving Omaha, so far, if they continue to do what they're doing, I mean, you're leaving pretty pleased if you're Coach Shepherdson with just the effort.
Good overhead set from Klein, but it's long. And Patak was pointing at the back line, thought she had it. She did not, and it's a 3-point game again.
Good idea to run the slide there. It might have been a little bit too far off of the net to run it. So if you're Klein, you really have to finish over your right shoulder there.
Samia Foster. better swing from Batak that time. He got it. Kansas 2 points away from taking the second.
They definitely trust that slide connection there, and just a better job of leading Patak to be able to have that ball in front of her, and that's exactly what they missed in the time before.
Patak now with 8 kills on the match, and she'll serve it. Bruce through hands, kept alive. Roll shot across. Andrade with a tough push. Comes over to the Kansas side. Klein, back row. Nelson off the tape. Richardson, Andrade, back row. He's hunting that open space. Couldn't quite get it down. And it's set point Kansas.
You know, that them setting up, the Jayhawks setting up the 3 blockers, it traps you and it really makes you want to pull everything cross court. But I'd almost go line if I was the Bulls.
Attack to try and level the match at a set apiece. Richardson wins the joust. We'll play at least one more, 24-20.
Really been impressed with Reagan Richardson. Just very calm and goes about her way, just little by little, anything she can do to help contribute to her team.
Had 3 aces on Friday against Omaha. They could use one here. They won't get it that time. And the big swing from Kenzie Dean goes long. Bulls within 3. Extra points in the first set. South Florida trying to do it again. Ace for Richardson.
There's so much traffic over there with the stack that you have with your middle and your pin, and then to have the serve receive passer there, just really well executed from South Florida to just really overload that area.
South Florida had 3 aces in set 1. They hadn't had one in set 2 until right then, and that prompts the timeout for Matt Ulmer as he can see the Bulls surging late in the set. They seem to do this, South Florida.
Just a lot of fight. I mean, if we're going to be here, let's do it. And I am just, you know, just hats off so far to what South Florida is doing, just to chip away little by little, whether it's behind the service line, we talked about that, just in all areas of the floor, whether it be defensive pursuits, whether it be block setups, being disciplined on serve and pass. Not one or the other is really, you know, taking the reins completely, but it's just doing your job a little by little in each one of the areas that they need to do that. And I think that's what's keeping them as competitive as they are here so far.
Well, I think it would have been easy for any team to say 24-19, second set, we took the first. Let's get into the locker room. We'll get them next time. They have not taken that attitude at all, South Florida.
That definitely speaks to what Coach Shepardson is doing, you know, from the culture, because, you know, that leadership definitely starts at the top and, you know, it goes down from there. And so that's not something that just happens on its own. That's something that's definitely spoken into that language, you know, whether it's, hey, let's find a way to build our RPI. Right. I mean, that's the opportunity that we have here in front of us. So, you know, let's take that opportunity, and whether it is trying to climb back.
They'll redo that serve. The officials weren't set. And now we're ready. 24-22, Kansas up, set 2. South Florida took the first. Richardson the serve. Klein, back row. Nelson kept up. Foster tracks it down. Bruce blocked. Kansas takes set 2. The big block out of the middle by Aurora Papats puts an end to the second. Teams head to the locker room with it split 1 apiece. An interesting morning match here in Omaha between South Florida and Kansas. Intermission here at DJ Sokol Arena. Through 2 sets here in Omaha. Split each way. South Florida took the first. Kansas took the second. Both of them tight. And you look at the stats, Shannon, just fine margins between the two teams. And South Florida is actually out-hitting Kansas right now, 213 to 188. They have more digs. The blocks are even. South Florida has more kills. It has been a tight match between these two.
Yeah, it's almost a tale of two completely different, you're seeing the physicality of Kansas. You're seeing, the use of the middle a lot more than we are from South Florida. You're seeing taking, some risks, having the 3 blockers, showing just a little bit of a different, style of play, if you will, versus when you look at South Florida. I mean, it's just the edginess, it's the grittiness, it's the speed, it's the effort, it's the, can I find a way to get a one-on-one? Can I find a way to, take a different risk to go against what the, matchup that Kansas has given me? But for me, it's just, like you talk about, the margin of error is very small, and it's just capitalizing on the little things, which can shift the momentum so quickly. And I think that's exactly what we saw there in set 2. The lead that the Jayhawks had, I mean, they could have easily just kept their foot on the gas, and, you could have seen the South Florida take a step back, but instead they feel very confident in what they're doing here, and that they know that what they're doing in regards to the game plan and executing the game plan and just wearing out the Jayhawks offense, keeping these rallies. They're not letting balls fall, and I think that's where you have to have a hats off to their staff and preparing them for that.
Set 1 featured 13 ties and 3 lead changes, just 1 tie and 1 lead change in the second set. Kansas was in front for much of the second set, but it was not comfortable at the end. The Bulls made a big charge. Kansas led by as many as 7 in that second set, but as you mentioned, the scrappiness, the fight, the attitude, whatever you want to call it, for South Florida, they've had that in spades here today, and we'll see what set 3 brings us. It's been entertaining so far. 2 different styles, 2 different makeups of the teams, and it's made for a really fun match.
I also think when you look at the stats as well, I mean, Grace Nelson came to play in set 2.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's something that the Jayhawks desperately needed, of like, okay, who is going to step up? Who is going to put the team on their back? And that's exactly what Grace Nelson did. I mean, she's, 12 kills on 22 total attempts, hitting .409. She has 6 digs, so top 2. She's doing a little bit everywhere. So she's somebody that I think has really put the team on her back.
Kansas will have the serve here in the third set. Jayhawks wearing the powder blue tops today. Looks like Logan Bell will be first server for Kansas when we get all set with the substitutions and the shifting. Been really impressed also on the South Florida side with Samia Foster. He's been really good at the libero spot.
I agree. A lot of balls that could have been, not gone for, and just finding a way to get a touch on it.
Bell gets us started in the third. Right to Beckham. She's blocked. Kept up Andrade. Free ball back to Kansas. Zelenovic off the arm of Richardson, and Kansas starts with a kill here in the third.
To go back to Samia Foster, I think that's another thing that great liberos are able to do, is compartmentalize the difference of being a high-level passer and a high-level defender. And a lot of times you see a libero that might be really good in serve receive, and they might not be, as good as they are on serve receive as they are on defense. And so what I've been impressed with Foster is she's been able to handle from the pressure from behind the serve receive line, and then she's also been really good defensively.
Andrade answers with a kill, her 10th. The score in the stadium is wrong. It's 1-1. Nelson got it off the block.
Yeah, so it looks like even On your screen, you're seeing 3-0.
It's 2-1, the score.
There we go.
Now it's corrected. And Ryan White will do the serving for Kansas. Beckham had it touched. Back row, Bell. Pushed across. Out of the middle. Patak puts it away.
She's been really good for Kansas. I've talked about the connection with her and Klein, but you know, there's one thing to be able to connect with your middle, but as a middle, you have to work to be available, and I think she's done a really good job in working to be available.
Richardson sets Garvin. Bruce out of the back, got it. Too hot to handle for Klein, and it's 3-2.
Was probably one of the most aggressive swings so far from Addie Bruce that I've seen, as South Florida has been really efficient on that back row ball.
Maya Thomason to serve. Good one, got the ace. Dropped right in front of Logan Bell, tied at 3.
Sometimes you see the advantage of the servers that are a little bit taller because they're able to get on top of the ball. Maya Thomas is just doing a really good job of hitting that flat and clean. That ball had a lot of movement.
She's listed at 5'3", and that might be an aggressive listing. Touched across, kept up. On the tip, Foster somehow got there. What a dig. Zelenovic sent it long, but it was touched.
Another really good effort from South Florida, but a really good use here in Zelenovic. Klein leads her and allows her to work.
The Towel girls have been busy.
Very.
They've had a job to do.
It's the nice thing about the Terraflex. I mean, it allows you to slide and move around, and it's a much better surface for the athletes to be playing on. But the downfall is, yeah, it does get a little slippery when wet.
Zelenovic, a hard serve. Foster was there for it. And the set too far in front for Andrade. 5-3 Kansas.
As a setter, when you're working for that tempo, you need to get your hips underneath that ball. So when you're keeping the momentum of it to shoot it to the pin, if your hips get behind it and your hands get too far out in front, that's where you get a little trouble, in a little trouble for your hitters, as that ball might go too wide past the antenna. So they've connected well, but there's been a couple of those from Beckham.
Serve from McCarthy is overpassed and put down. South Florida not quite the same sharpness we saw from them in the first 2 sets here to open this one. They're only behind 3. They're going to have to clean some of that up now if they want to stay in this match.
Yeah, the serve and pass. I think the Jayhawks have done a much better job this set of being aggressive behind the service line.
That one sent wide. Service error. Fortunate for South Florida. Andrade. Puts it in the net.
Such a high risk, high reward, because you have to stay aggressive if you're either team, because you know both teams have very effective offenses that they're able to run. So if you're just getting that ball over, if you're just initiating the ball, it's not going to work. You definitely have to stay aggressive, but it's that high risk, high reward of going for it and having the air, or you know, just sending it in play.
Push to the far pin, off hands. Dean couldn't get it to fall. Bruce, and it's blocked and stays on the South Florida side, but it's out of bounds. It rolled across the tape. It might have fallen in the inbounds area, but just rolled off the tape and stayed wide. 7-5. Sent long again.
This is something that we didn't see in set 2 for South Florida. There was that large point run, if you will, from KU. And so, you know, I really feel that whoever walks away from this set could be the one that's walking away from the match as a winner. I think this is a really big set. So for South Florida to not allow Kansas to come out and attack early is super important.
Jayhawks in front 7-6. Samia Foster the serve. Another good one. Attack. Too wide again, and it's a tie score at 7.
We'll see a quick challenge here from Matt Ulmer and his Jayhawks, as I think they think that there was a touch. And now I think real time when I saw it, it looked as if it touched off of the tape and not necessarily the blocker's hands, but we'll see here if it, oh, it looks like she'll be probably called for in the net. But I think this is a little bit unlucky too, because I feel the ball hits the tape, which I think puts that net into Bruce's arm. So it's, you know, is there the touch? Is there the net? Does the ball force the forearm of Bruce to go into the net because of the impact of the ball? Either way, we'll slow play down here at 7-7 in set 3. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know if there's conclusive evidence of anything.
What happens first? I feel like the ball goes, I don't think there's any touch. I mean, you see that wide, sharp angle, and it goes at that tape, but it does look like that ball, does the ball happen first, or does the arm contact happen first? I think it's the ball that goes into the tape, and then the arm happens second, but that's not going to be the, I mean, that's going to be the angle that you're going to see for the no touch. It's kind of hard, though. Her right hand is right in the way of the right arm of Bruce.
We await the announcement.
And on the floor, it was called out, so it would have to be enough to have the conclusive evidence to overturn.
So the play stands. That's the announcement. Point to South Florida, and we're tied at 7. Kansas getting all they want from South Florida here today. Kansas loses the challenge. Back to play. Feels like a big point right here. Good serve from Foster. Dean couldn't get it down. Bruce the roll shot. Attack. Off hands, kept up by Andrade. Bruce trying to go cut shot. It stayed on her side of the net, though, and Kansas retakes the lead at 8-7.
Good idea there. Again, they know that that zone 4 is open, but unfortunately, Addie Bruce, her body just went straight in, so didn't get that left hip fully on that ball, which didn't allow her to have that high contact for the ball to clear the net.
Attack to serve it. Quick to the middle. Andrade giving chase. Keeps it up. Foster, what a save. Kansas gets the touch. Heck of a defensive effort for South Florida, but it's still point Kansas. What a chase down for Andrade.
Just that one arm scoopy to bring that ball back in, allowing her teammates to keep that ball in play.
9-7 Kansas. Andrade out of the back row.
Really good job, Maya Thomas, handling that serve. And Beckham knowing that she has Andrade behind her. It's really well executed there.
Andrade really gets her whole body into it. Bruce touched on the way through. Dean, the roll shot, finds the floor.
Yeah, that one right there is a missed opportunity. Samia Foster kind of realizes probably should have went for that ball, but really well done there from Kenzie Dean to find that seam.
10-8 Kansas. Third set. Beckham the touch, and just got it to fall.
Yeah, if I was South Florida, I would put, I know that that block setup is hard because you have Zelenovic over there, but anything that you can do to, I feel like they're kind of trapping them and wanting them to hit there, and I think that 4-to-4 shot hasn't been as successful. I would try to keep finding ways in that right back, whether it's over the block or whether it's trying to find an off arm tool.
Nelson, dug by Richardson. Andrade takes it right over on the second. Bush kept up, rolled to the deep corner. Zelenovic, good dig. Andrade will free pass across. Kansas setting up the attack. Dean blocked and out of bounds. South Florida with a scrambling point right there to tie it at 10.
Really good setup there from Andrade to bring Hartfield in. She noticed that ball was dying just a little bit, and she could have got caught sailing wide, and instead she stayed in, she stopped and dropped, which allowed that Hartfield block.
Addie Bruce sends it over. Hartfield blocked in the middle. The size difference between Papats and Hartfield has shown up a couple of times today.
Yeah, there's just such a wingspan that's taking up so much. And even if you think that you're working on the one-on-one, you have the room to work with on the corners, just the sheer wingspan of Papats is taking up a lot of space.
Beckham tools the block. Just what you were calling for.
Yeah, she's been so effective, picking up her 8th kill of the match. I just think it's a really heads-up play there from Beckham to use her back there, as they haven't, found her a whole ton recently. They've put a lot of emphasis on Andrade, so I really like that play call.
Zelenovic blocked. Beckham tried to throw it across. Andrade will roll it too deep.
And you're able to get those block touches like South Florida has. That really allows that backcourt to work, and it can really frustrate that Jayhawk offense, as they're doing a really good job of just finding hands, but they have to be able to convert those into kills.
Bruce, back row kill.
Shooting the gap, Ariana Beckham. Or rather, that's Andrade. Oh no, that was
Addie Bruce.
Yeah, that was Addie Bruce. Sorry, but just the heads-up play from Reagan Richardson. I mean, she just knows where her offensive weapons are at all time, and is just shooting the gap and finding those seams.
Kansas scrambling to keep that off the floor. Andrade off hands, kept up by White. Back row, Bell. Thomas, free pass over. Andrade with a quick reaction. Zelenovic puts it down.
It's a good connection there from Klein to Zelenovic. Almost just takes a 2-step and just lets it rip.
Jayhawks lead at 13-12. New server in for the Jayhawks is Molly McCarthy. Been used as a serving specialist here today. Beckham, excuse me, Garvin out of the middle on the slide that time.
Showing off that athleticism. A great pass there from Foster. Great connection. It's a big time play there from the junior out of Georgia.
13-all. Andrade. Nelson couldn't get it through the block. Pushed over by Richardson. Reset Kansas. Nelson again, blocked, but out of bounds.
See if Kansas can put Nelson back in the driver's seat as she picks up her 15th kill, hitting .444 so far on this match. Only 3 errors, just really doing a nice job for the Jayhawks.
Nelson serves it to the middle. Garvin on the slide. Patak. It was touched and long. And we've hit the mid-set break here in the third. Kansas with a 2-point lead over a very game South Florida Bulls squad. We'll close the third when we come back here at DJ Sokol Arena in Omaha. Entertaining volleyball here in Omaha on a Sunday morning. Kansas, the number 17 team in the country, being pushed by South Florida. 15-13 here in the third set, split 1 apiece. And it's Grace Nelson leading the way in kills for Kansas with the serve. Richardson, one-hand set, pushed across. Kansas able to scramble it back the other way. Bruce finishes the play.
I said it earlier, if you don't have the size to beat it, then why not use your speed? And it's just another example of Reagan Richardson just putting just her hitters in really great opportunities with a great tempo to allow that block to not fully set up.
Layla Ivy checks in for the first time. She played most of the match yesterday against Creighton. Foster the serve. In the net on Kenzie Dean, makes it 15-all.
Jayhawks are struggling. I mean, Grace Nelson has done a good job of holding down the outside spot and being productive. And it just seems like for the Jayhawks right now, finding that productivity within that second outside is something that they haven't been able to find here. And so giving Kenzie Dean that opportunity, sophomore, another youthful player for the Jayhawks, is trying to find a way if she can't help her team being efficient.
Mia Foster will serve it again, trying to give South Florida the lead here in the third set. Attacks.
That slide has just been so lethal from Klein to Patak. It's just been almost automatic.
So South Florida is challenging the call. And we'll try to see what they're looking for.
I believe she's challenging maybe the in-out.
And that was quick. It was definitely in.
Very quick. With having 2 timeouts left, it's not as if she was.
No.
So they must have saw something that felt. Happened so quickly. Yeah, it was definitely in.
It was in by a lot. Maybe they were checking to see if she was under the net.
Could have.
Either way, Kansas leads 16-15. Patak to serve it. Ivy blocked. And Addie Bruce will come back in.
So with Reagan Richardson's being in the front row, both sides have their setter in the front row, so just the 2 options here. So whether South Florida wants to use their middle or keep their tempo, the pass has to set that up. Richardson,
Bruce, good connection.
Very good connection. It just seems so effortless when Richardson, the ball is just coming out so smooth out of her hand, and that block setup is just a little bit wide on her, but it's tough because you have to commit with how quickly that ball's coming out.
Long serve that time from Richardson. (18-16), Jayhawks up. And it will be the setter, Kristen Klein. Big Ten all-freshman last year at Oregon. Zelenovic kept alive. Beckham pushed up by Nelson. Foster the set. Bruce blocked, kept up again by Foster. Beckham pushed it. Nelson was there. Zelenovic off hands. Point Kansas.
Really good read there from Grace Nelson to put her Jayhawks hitters in a really great position, which sets up that high line kill from Zelenovic.
Timeout, South Florida. 3-point lead for Kansas. We will step aside. Another tight one here in set 3 between the Bulls and Jayhawks. Three-point lead for Kansas here in the third set. Tied 1 set each. Jayhawks, number 17 team in the country, trying to keep a 5-game winning streak alive. Nelson out of the back row here. Pass tight to the net and pushed down. Was that not over the net, Shannon?
I thought it was. I thought real time, that's not something that you can challenge, but I thought for sure in real time that that ball didn't fully cross the plane.
It looked like Papats was well across the net when she contacted that ball. Nothing given. Kansas leads by 4. Hartfield rejected. The big block for Kansas.
Really good eye work, really good vision there from Papats as she stays with her middle, seals that net.
Kansas into the red zone, starting to run away. Andrade just has to pass across. Good block. South Florida responds with a much-needed point.
Another example of just really great vision there from Hartfield, staying with her middle the whole time and just being simple and low and over.
Kenzie Dean, it was pushed across. Good recovery by Bruce. Far side, Beckham blocked out of bounds. What a point for the Bulls.
Very, very well done from the Bulls. The defensive effort, the out of system, just that go for it mentality. As Ariana Beckham just has a beautiful swing on that right side. (21-18) Kansas in front. If I was Creighton, I'd probably just invest in like the little brooms.
Right.
Because if I'm a towel person that's doing the floors, I mean, I'm leaving here with a sore back.
Need a squeegee. Blocked again, Hartfield and Beckham. And this is the part of the game where South Florida just seems to flip a switch.
We talk about Nelson being a big-time player for the Jayhawks. Ariana Beckham has done it all from the offensive side as well as the blocking side.
Back row, Nelson kept up Andrade. Pushed across Beckham, reset for Kansas. Zelenovic, Foster coming right into our living room and pushed across. Roll shot, Dean doesn't fall. Beckham touches over. Long rally here. Kenzie Dean blocked but stays on the South Florida side. Jayhawks back up by 3.
Kenzie Dean just using her length there, kind of hitting on her way down, but it's effective for her. And she was able to get that kill and catching those hands, not be sealed over.
Just the 3rd kill of the match for Dean, but an important one. Logan Bell the serve. Beckham, they go back to her, she delivers again. Beckham's been the best offensive weapon in this set for South Florida.
Picking up her 10th kill of the match and has definitely introduced herself here today in Omaha, as she has just been really hard to stop.
3 players now with double-digit kills. Bruce and Andrade with 11. Beckham now with 10. Hartfield to serve. Blocked. Garvin. Here comes South Florida.
Just the discipline and footwork to stay in that. She was held up, was able to beat that ball all the way out to that pin, stopping and dropping to seal that seam up. Really well done.
And timeout, Kansas.
It's a big point here coming out of this timeout.
And this set feels almost the way set 1 felt. Looked like Kansas was going to run away with it at the end of the first set. South Florida fought back, pushed it to extra points and took it. And right now, Kansas has been up 4 or 5 points in this set, and South Florida has battled back once again to bring it within 1.
We saw that in set 2, South Florida climbing their way back and just little by little, but just kind of ran out of time as they fell behind so early in set 2, where, you know, even though they had a couple runs, Kansas did, South Florida has done a good job of not letting those runs become too big where they would run out of time. It's infectious. For me, what the South Florida Bulls are doing in regards to just making the gritty plays, staying in the long rallies, just going for it defensively. I mean, we saw Andrade on the off block have a couple of balls that I thought were for sure down, and she's just showing off the reason why she has so many accolades, being the American Conference Player of the Year, the AVCA All-American. Like, she has just done it all, and it's nothing that is, you know, you walk into the match and you're just, you know, stepping back from her sheer size, athleticism. It's just her IQ. It's just her touch on the ball is allowing her team, you know, to stay in these long rallies and then allowing Beckham to go to work. And so that for me and just is infectious to just have that mentality of like, let's fight for it. It's a lot of fun to watch. And it wears on you.
It does. When a team just won't go away, no matter what you throw at them. Big serve for Hartfield here. Touched across, kept up by Garvin. Andrade asking for the touch. She gets it. Tied at 22.
She definitely wants the ball right now. I mean, she is not scared to go after it, knowing that that's a high block in front of her, big block. She can go off those high hands.
Winovich touches across. Andrade, they go back there. She tried the two-handed stuff and used the block to score. How about South Florida?
Just the IQ of Andrade. She is putting the Bulls on her back and is playing with no fear.
My goodness. Maria Clara Andrade.
When you get into the red zone, it really shows what kind of mentality you want to have as a team. Are you going to be a team that goes for it and takes the big swings? Or are you going to tip and roll? And now granted, in a long rally, the tips and the rolls are definitely going to open themselves up. But in the last 2 points, it was 22-21, Kansas up by 1. And I said it's going to be a big point.
Yep.
And in those 2 points, what did you see Kansas doing? Tipping and rolling. They have the size advantage. That's where they have to use that, and they have to swing away. And what they're doing is they're tipping and rolling. And when you have a gritty defensive team like you do in South Florida, that's not what you want to do. I mean, that is just feeding right into exactly what they want you to do, and that is what is allowing them to swing away. So I'll be curious. I mean, we've seen Andrade so successful here, but I will not be surprised if they use Ariana Beckham as well. So this is a really good rotation they are in if you're the Bulls, because not only do you have Andrade on the outside pin, but you have Beckham over there as well.
It was 22-19, and South Florida's gone on a 4-point scoring run to lead it 23-22.
And you have Bruce out of the back row, and this is I mean, you want to hold serve here if you're Hartfield.
Imani Hartfield. Good serve. And a great set from the knees by Kristen Klein.
Finding Nelson. Who else is going to get it done for the Jayhawks? Grace Nelson, another player that's really took advantage of her opportunities and stepping up.
Huge point right there for Kansas. Tied at 23. It'll be the libero, Ryan White. Richardson a little late to react to that ball.
She's been so good today. That was just an unfortunate play and a really big time, bad time if you're the Bulls, as they've been really good and out of system. So it's a lucky play there for the Jayhawks as making the 2-point swing here late in set 3.
24-23 Kansas, set point. And it just looked like Richardson wasn't quite expecting the ball to come off of Foster that way. She kind of took a false step and was late getting there, and it gummed up the operation on that all-important point.
Delayed reaction there. Be curious to see. The Jayhawks have been targeting the libero for the Bulls mostly here throughout the match, and then especially here late in set 3. So we'll see who they go after again. And I will say that the Jayhawks service has done a lot better job here in sets 2 and 3, being aggressive as well as being very accurate.
All right, teams coming out of their timeout huddles. Grace Nelson's been impressive today for Kansas. And Ryan White will try to serve out this third set and give Kansas the lead in the match.
Don't be surprised if they go to Beckham here. Again, really good offensive choices for the Bulls. So if they can handle that first contact, I wouldn't be surprised to see the tempo on that back set to Beckham.
Beckham set up on the attacking right side for South Florida. Beckham overpass, chance for Kansas to end it right here. Zelenovic got the touch, got the point. Kansas takes the third.
Really well done there, taking advantage, and that again, that came from the servers of the Jayhawks coming in big and putting the pressure on South Florida that allowed that overpass to execute. Very well done out of the timeout.
3 sets down. South Florida fighting for all they're worth, but number 17 Kansas in front, 2-1. We'll have the fourth when we come back. Fourth set coming up right here in Omaha. Kansas has taken the second and third after South Florida won the first in extra points. The numbers, I don't know if they could be much tighter. Each set has featured both teams in the 20s. 28-26 South Florida in the first, 25-22, 25-23 Kansas in the second and third. A lot of points, a lot of long rallies.
What really jumps out to me, though, is the 60 digs versus the 40 digs. South Florida is definitely out digging Kansas here. And I mean, you have Samia Foster with 15 digs versus the libero and Ryan White with only, you know, 4 digs. Now, granted, it depends on who they're picking on, right?
And Foster has changed her shirt. We have seen her have to use the towel several times, so she's got a fresh jersey on. Bruce, there's a dig from White. Nelson off the block. Beckham pushed across. White keeps it up. Nelson roll shot. Back row. Andrade couldn't get it to fall. Pushed across. Bruce blocked. White. Zelenovic. Sent it wide. It's out. Point South Florida to start this pivotal 4th set.
I thought there was a back row attack there from South Florida as the ball was covered overhead from the libero and taken over on 2.
Long serve from Richardson. Tied at 1. Here's Ryan White, senior out of Washington. Played 86 matches at Oregon in 3 seasons. Rolled across Bruce. Klein. Zelenovic pushes it over. Second ball. What a play, Reagan Richardson.
It's a really good time to call your own number if you're Richardson. That was not something that they were expecting. You're a back row setter. Not often do you call your own number. But if you can stay down and be able to read the block that's giving you a little bit to work with. She's catching the back row defenders off incline, and so she was able to take advantage of it.
Addie Bruce paints the back line for the ace.
Seen that done a couple times here today. That cross court 1-to-1. The longer that ball, that float serve stays alive, it gets nastier on the back end of it.
Didn't get it over on the second attempt.
It's a bad toss.
(3-2) the score. South Florida in front. Andrade forces it through to make it 4-2.
The IQ of both Andrade and Nelson, the two of them have been a lot of fun to watch today, as it's not always about getting the heavy swing, but rather what is the game giving you? And the game gave her a wide open floor to work with, and she took advantage of it.
Klein sets the middle. Attack again.
She's really good off of 1 foot. Sometimes middles, talked about with liberos being not only great from behind, you know, being able to be a great serve receive passer, but also being able to be great defensively. That's something that when you're looking at middles, are you great from behind the setter or only in front? And I think what Patak does really well is she attacks off of 1 foot really well.
Pushed far pin, Andrade elevates and terminates.
And that matchup between Klein and Andrade, just that tempo from Beckham. See, Klein just goes a little bit too far wide. It's almost like she's one on nobody.
Thomas the serve. Dean off hands. Middle. Garvin got it to roll home. 6-3 South Florida.
As a setter, you want to be deceptive, and I think Richardson is doing a really good job of not telling the Jayhawk blockers of where she's going, and so she's really doing a good job of allowing her hitters to be able to have opportunities against the Jayhawk block.
What a connection with Patak. She is money.
It's just a matchup that South Florida has not been able to slow down.
Thirteenth kill for Reese Patak. Andrade sent it wide. Good serve from Patak. Andrade off the block, kept up, overpass, joust one. Stays on the Kansas side. Roll into the deep corner, Bruce. And she was chasing it down. But that was a great placement on that ball.
Couldn't have placed it any better. I mean, just right in that deep corner. Really good ball handling skills.
But Potts, just a great job of getting that into that deep corner to make it 6-6. Garvin blocked. Potts and Dean got up to turn it away.
Really well done there from Dean. Read it the whole time. Stayed with that. Simple and sealing it over.
4 points run off consecutively by Kansas. They take a 7-6 lead. Back from a 3-point deficit here in the 4th set to take a 7-6 lead over South Florida. Jayhawks looking to close out a 4-set victory after dropping the first set. Dean. Good track down by Thomas. Back row, Nelson. Got the touch on the way through. It's 5 in a row for Kansas. Serve from Patak is into the net.
Like I said, Kansas has done just a much better job late sets 2, 3 of being aggressive behind the service line, and that shows when you're holding serve for as long as they are, putting a lot of pressure on the South Florida passers.
Andrade just gets it to roll over. Big point for the Bulls there. Sometimes better lucky than good.
seen a lot of those here today on the tape serves, and you want to drive it low and flat. Not always are you wanting it to hit that tape because it slows the momentum of it down, but it seems to be working for Andrade.
8-all. Net violation on Kansas. Point to South Florida.
Feels like it's been such a long match that, like, you can kind of see both sides getting a little tired, right? Like, the rallies are not running as long as they were in sets 2 and 3. So it'll be really curious to see what team decides to either close it out if you're KU or how much is left in your tank if you're South Florida.
Kenzie Dean misses long, and the Bulls back up 2.
See a substitution here from the Jayhawks. Get Ryan Swanson, the senior pin from Kansas, back into the match. And
Swanson just hasn't had any success. They tried to go to something different, the Kansas coaching staff. Swanson 1 kill, 15 swings with an error. Back row, Nelson. Andrade was there. Bruce. What a dig by White. Pushed over by Garvin. But the point goes to Kansas.
Net violation.
They did call the net violation.
So all comes down to timing on those jousts. It's really trying to not be the first one to it, but rather the last.
Klein serve. Richardson, far side, Bruce. She's blocked.
The Kansas block does a lot for them. I mean, it is a big part of their success is their blocking. So they can keep that up to try to close this match out here in 4.
Back row, Andrade. Pasted.
Threading the needle on anything that they give her. I mean, she's taking it.
11-10, South Florida in front. Swanson. There's a kill. Ryan Swanson came in as the kills leader for Kansas. That's just her 2nd today on 16 swings.
And that's what a gritty defense will do. They'll wear you out where balls might fall. That's just not something that South Florida is allowing. So credit to them to put that pressure on her.
And served wide by Logan Bell to get the lead back to South Florida. Zelenovic with the hammer. 12-12, 4th set.
Usually say that you gain power from your runway, like length equals power, and I say that in regards to like having a long approach. But for Zelenovic, I mean, she almost takes just 2 steps and just swings away. I mean, she's just really showcases the strength of that arm.
Bruce blocked on the way through. Zelenovic kept up Andrade. Chance for Kansas again. Nelson, big swing, but it was touched. Beckham with a big swing. White with the dig, and a free pass over. Beckham again, but she's rejected. Zelenovic holds her hands in the air.
I would have liked to seen a Bick there. If I was Richardson, I probably would have seen what Andrade could have done in shooting a gap with that back row ball.
Ryan White will serve it. Kansas back in front, 13-12. Pushed across. Foster keeps it up. Back row, Andrade. Zelenovic, big swing, but kept alive. Beckham rolls it back over. Quick set to the middle. Patak puts it down.
Which was a much better set there from Klein that second time around, as that first connection between her and Patak in front was just too low. And those are things that in a rally, those things will cost you, because if you keep that ball in play long enough, you're giving the other team the opportunity to put the ball away. And so a much better effort there from her. But if you're Klein, you're definitely going to want to take advantage of those opportunities when you have that ball on the net. You have to execute.
Quick break here at 14-12. Kansas has regained the lead in the fourth. Number 17, Kansas. They've been forced to play against South Florida, unranked team out of the American Conference. Battle-tested squad, the South Florida Bulls. 2 wins over teams that were hanging around the top 25 area. Dayton and Florida State. They beat Florida State for the first time in 23 years this season. And White serves it into the net out of the timeout.
Seen that all day. Unfortunate, untimely missed serves from the Jayhawks. Gives the momentum right back to South Florida.
Bulls pushed current number 11 Purdue to 5 sets earlier this year. They're no stranger to playing ranked teams and putting the pressure on. Zelenovic, my goodness, what do you even do with that?
You have to find a way to get hands on it just to slow it down. I mean, if you're not getting hands on that ball, it becomes really hard to defend. I mean, you have to read it and you just have to body it up. But even that, I mean, she does a really good job of hitting into the seams. So it's almost like she's almost better off the net with her contact point. But the connection between her and Klein has definitely gotten better as this match has gone on, but just such a heavy arm.
Just the raw power. 15-13 Jayhawks. Zelenovic with that hard serve. Andrade kept up by White and then put down by Patak. But Patak has been impressive.
She has, but I mean, she doesn't get that opportunity if you don't make a dig. And I think there was a lot of balls that I think were left on the floor. I think Ryan White had some seam balls that she might have misread. So that was a really well-executed play there that started off with a dig.
Not enough top spin on that one for Zelenovic. It's long, gives the point back to South Florida.
Sometimes those top spins, typically if you hit them well enough, just have enough height just to drop over the top of the tape. But with her height, she's able to contact it so high that she's also able to get that deep, heavy ball as well.
Second ball attack from Klein, well played. Good time for it.
If you're gonna take it over on 2, it has to speed you up. If it's gonna slow you down, if it's gonna give them a free ball opportunity, you have to use your hitters. So I like that choice there by Klein. It continued to stay within the speed of the offense.
Overpass, hammered back the other way. Kansas in control, 18-14.
Between Nelson, Patak, Zelenovic, I mean, they've done a really great job of carrying the load. I mean, each one of them, 17 kills from Grace Nelson, 16 from Patak, and 12 from Zelenovic. I mean, then the next closest is 3 kills from Kenzie Dean.
And how about that out-of-system swing from Andrade?
That just shows off her IQ, being a senior out there, the IQ, the grittiness. I like the way she plays.
Maya Thomas, the serve. Swanson puts it down.
Really good time for Swanson to come alive as, oh, by the way, Kansas, you get another match here, a rematch that is against Creighton. And so, you know, it's great to have another pin scoring and putting that ball away. So they're going to definitely want to get her going.
Point, Kansas.
Back row attack, setters back row for South Florida. So looks like we'll call a replay. The R1 thought the setter was in the back row. I did too, actually, because the way she went about it, I mean, she could have turned and took it over, but with her being in the front row, so it'll be a replay.
Still 19-15. Andrade, hard swing, it gets down.
That's just the effort, right? Like, you just have to go for it. You have Patak, that's not a typical defender back there, so when you get hands on that ball, you've got to make a dig there, and typically with White back there, who would usually fill in and take that, that's where your defenders that are in there, they have to make that play.
Good dig, Andrade. Second ball kept up by Thomas. Bruce down the line, wide.
Just trying to find hands there from the Jayhawks. Klein learned from that one of not reaching, but look at that reach from Swanson. She's just hitting so high above the net that she's not necessarily putting so much pace on the ball, but rather just a high wingspan is reaching up and over the block.
Back row, Andrade.
Those are some of the points. I mean, talk about the margin of error. I would have liked to seen that number being called probably a little bit sooner when needed, as you know, you're looking for gaps if you're a setter, and Kansas has had a really hard time in defending that BIC.
Zelenovic, what a swing.
She does an exceptional job of reaching. I mean, understanding what her length can play into a match at 6'7". Can't do that if you don't reach and have that high contact. So really well done there.
Looks almost effortless too. Bruce blocked, kept up. Point, Jayhawks.
And the rule is, and this is where Coach Shepherdson is asking, you can be underneath the net if there is no play in the area, but with a blocker in the area, that was the right call, and there was a hand that was underneath that center violation.
22-17, Kansas has it by 5. Bruce dug out on the back row, pushed over by Zelenovic. Touched across Hartfield. Back row, and a block in the middle by Hartfield as Logan Bell was just trying to push it across. Hartfield said, no, thank you.
What I've noticed throughout this match as well is Kansas has done a much better job of defending some of these off-speed roll shots. And so I do think that that's something, you know, that going into tonight's matchup with Creighton, learning along the way. I mean, we've seen the Jayhawks do different things with their lineups. We've seen whether it be Grace Nelson or, you know, Swanson, Ryan Swanson being somebody that takes, you know, more of a load for them. I think what you're seeing is building up that depth around each player.
Foster, free pass over. Nelson blocked. Grace Nelson was really, really effective early on in this match, Shannon. South Florida's adjusted to her pretty well.
They have. Ariana Beckham is just doing a really good job of getting her eyes on Nelson, seeing and facing the line of attack, and just being really simple.
Middle, got it across Papats, and now Kansas very close to closing this thing out.
Yeah, and this will be a big point here. I mean, you give South Florida a little bit to work with. They'll try to take advantage of it.
Ryan White. Comes off the shoulder of White. Back the other way, Bell. Richardson sends it out wide for Bruce. White the dig. Nelson off hands. Kept up by Foster. Richardson sets it. Bruce again. She got it. South Florida will not go away.
And this South Florida team came to play, especially when it comes to out of system. The grittiness, but not only the grittiness, but you have to be able to execute, not just keeping that ball alive, but they're ending rallies on those gritty plays.
Tatiana Johnson in to serve it. To the middle, Patak. Match point, Jayhawks.
Almost a zero tempo there. We saw Patak was in the air when Klein had the ball. A really good connection that we haven't really seen a whole ton in front from Patak.
Zelenovic to try and finish it. And that'll do it. The Kansas block comes up with another big point, and they close it out in 4. South Florida took the first set in extra points, and the next 3 all go to the Kansas Jayhawks, who extend their winning streak to 6. Wasn't a sweep this time. They were pushed. But Kansas, despite the scrappy efforts of South Florida, get the win to move to 9-4.
This was a really great match for South Florida to prepare them for what's in front of them in conference play. And I think for the Jayhawks, I think it's a little bit of like a wake-up call of what can we do, you know, with all of our options given. We've used the depth. We've had different setters step up in different times, and it's a mentality. So you saw them make that shift within their mindset of how do they want today to go. And so we'll see how that plays into their next match against the rematch with Creighton.
Yeah. Quick turnaround for the Jayhawks. They played yesterday at 3 p.m. against Omaha at Baxter Arena across town. They play start time 10 a.m. against South Florida here today. They get the victory in 4 sets, but they'll be back on this floor at 5 p.m. tonight against Creighton. Number 17 against number 18. A rematch of a 5-setter earlier this season. Should be an entertaining one. And you can catch the broadcast tonight on Nebraska Public Media. But for South Florida, they take away from this weekend. They got swept by Creighton yesterday, rotating the lineup, but played a great match against a very, very solid Kansas team here today. And they can go away with heads held high, South Florida, from this weekend in Omaha.
I mean, you cannot deny the just sheer effort, right? And I thought that their energy was infectious, their grit, just the things that they're doing. I mean, you can see that there's a lot of team cohesion and culture and the identity in which they play volleyball. And I think at this level, with the margin of error being so thin and just doing the little things, I was so impressed from all areas of their game. And I think if you're their staff, you're definitely getting on the plane today and leaving this weekend with a lot to be proud of.
And on the other side for Kansas, maybe didn't even play as good as they're capable of, but that's the mark of a good team, right? When you maybe don't have your best stuff, you still find a way to come out victorious.
Yeah, they have a lot to be excited for.
Certainly.
We talked about the youth that they have, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, and even the sophomore, freshman, the sophomore, whatever that may be. This is a new team, right? This is a new brand under the Ulmer era, and so you're going to see some things early on that take a little bit of time to connect and to adjust. So there's a lot to be excited for if you're a Jayhawks fan, and there's definitely a lot to learn from as well here in this early match.
So Kansas gets the victory in 4 sets, and that's going to do it for us here from the Creighton Classic in Omaha. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of collegiate volleyball. Kansas moves to 9-4 with the victory. For my partner Shannon Smolinski, I'm John Schreiner. So long from DJ Sokol Arena.